CSR violations, about which all of us have been hearing, not to be treated as criminal offence and would instead be a civil liability. Ministry of Corporate Affairs will review the sections under Companies Act. Government has provided companies through revised orders time for completing ongoing projects towards fulfilling their CSR obligations. So every doubt that was prevailing outside, I would want to dispel it today, that there is no intention of the government to go on the prosecution route. CSR will only be treated as a civil matter and not at all as a criminal matter. In my first silo is issue of IT orders, notices, summons, letters, etc., shall now go through a centralized system. What does that actually mean? It means on or after 1st October 2019, all notices, summons, orders, etc. by the income tax authorities shall be issued through a centralized computer system, and it will contain computer-generated unique documentation identification number. Some of you all have already started writing about it, great sense of what is coming. But what actually it means is, if there is a notice being issued at the ground level and some amount is being claimed on an SSC, that without a central approval cannot happen, and also the amount stated there will eventually either be resolved or resolved in favor of the authorities, and therefore the tax will be paid or the claim will be settled, but the amount shall be what was claimed and not more or less. And this will be available for the assessee himself to see it, so that he knows what he is being asked. If necessary, he can even quote that and complain, so that there are no anomalies in paper and actual practice. So this is one way in which we think the harassment angle can be addressed in favor of the assessee. The second, any communication issued without computer-generated unique document identification number, the DIN number, that shall be treated non-est. In other words, if anybody has issued from his own level, at the ground level, that notice shall not be treated. Actually, the assessee can put it aside and say, I've not received any note, nobody is going to follow him up. Unless the notice goes through the central clearance, and unless the notice has a DIN number, the document identification number, it need not be taken seriously by any assessee at all. So let's make that very clear. And all old notices, the question naturally arises, you announced this, what happens to those which were given earlier? All old notices to be decided by 1st October 2019 or uploaded again through the system. So all the notices which have been issued till now will be cleared before October 1st, 2019, within 1.5 months from now. And if in case some of them will have to be treated again, they'll be uploaded again, and only then will it become a valid document for action. So assessees can be very clear, it is now a transparent process. No one authority, no one officer will be doing it independently on his own. And then from 1st October 2019, all notices to be disposed of. This is very important. Things are not going to keep hanging fire. All notices to be disposed of within 3 months from the date of reply. Let's be clear, no assessee will have anything to do with any notice after 3 months once he's given a reply. Relief from enhanced surcharge on long-term and short-term capital gains. In order to encourage investment in the capital market, it has been decided to withdraw the enhanced surcharge levied by the Finance No. 2 Act of 2019, the recent budget time, on long and short-term capital gains arising from transfer of equity or shares and units referred in section 11A and 111A and 112A respectively. In other words, the enhanced surcharge on FPI goes. in simple words. In other words, the pre-budget position is restored. Surcharge on domestic investors too in the equity market goes. Pre-budget position is restored. I am using an expression which is used commonly, but it's not something part of the ministry. Things about angel tax provisions. That's not an official expression for the tax that we are referring to, but never mind, all of us understand what angel tax refers to. So to mitigate genuine difficulties of startups and their investors, it has been decided that Section 56(2)(b) of the Income Tax Act shall not be applicable to a startup registered with DPIIT. So, the section which is invoked and through which startups had difficulties, but that section is important for the income tax for many other reasons, so the section continues, but that section shall not be applicable to registered startups. All right, now this is done, but after this, if there's a difficulty, it has also been decided to set up a dedicated cell under a member of the CBDT. The CBDT chairman is here, present in the audience. A member of the CBDT will head a cell under him for addressing the problems of startups. A startup having any income tax issue can approach the cell for quick resolution of the problems. So that way, we have made it clear that it shall not apply to startups who are registered with the Department of Industry and Internal Trade. Not only that, but further, there will be a member who will be handling it from the CBDT. Additional credit expansion through public sector banks. This is something which we did announce during the budget session. Upfront, we are releasing the 70,000 crores. Upfront, we are releasing the 70,000 crores and additional lending and liquidity to the tune of 5 lakh crores can be made available by providing this upfront capital for the PSBs. This was announced in the budget. We are doing it upfront now. And we are very clear that this will benefit all the corporates, retail borrowers, MSMEs, and small traders as well. Banks have now decided to pass on any rate cut through the MCLR reduction to benefit all borrowers. It's a decision which the banks have made. I'm very grateful because during the consultation, we emphasized on the total, irrespective of the segments, people saying that the benefits of rate reduction don't reach them at all. Or if it reaches in trickles, or if it reaches, the trickles last over several months and years. So there was this across-the-board grievance that interest rates not being passed down to the customer is affecting, in spite of Reserve Bank having brought it down several times. So now we are very grateful all the banks have agreed and they said that they shall pass on the rate. Banks, again, have decided to launch repo rate or external benchmarking linked loan products. Only a few days ago, the governor of Reserve Bank had spoken about it. He was talking about institutionalizing this mechanism, was also still hoping that the banks would work on it. Now, banks have agreed to do this, and I really want to put on record my appreciation of the Finance Secretary who has been sitting and engaging with the banks to convince them that today's environment demands that the banks become a bit more reasonable on this, and this will therefore result in reduced EMI for housing loans, vehicles and other retail loans by directly linking repo rate to the interest rates, which means the moment the reduction has happened, it will directly benefit the customers, end customers. Working capital loans for industry will also become cheaper as a result. For settlement of one-time loans, or one-time loan settlements, we are approaching it with a checkbox approach. If a client has complied with certain requirements in one sheet of paper, use a checkbox system and there and then settle for the one-time settlement, rather than say somebody else will have to take a call, we'll have to pass the paper on to somebody else and come back and waste time. If the checkbox approach is taken up by MSMEs and they go about ticking the box and giving it to the banks, there's no reason somebody else should come to decide the matter. The banks can there and then decide and clear the one-time settlements. GST refunds for MSMEs. This was rampantly heard from a lot of MSMEs saying, our refunds are stuck, we are not sure when we will get it, will you give it? Now, I would want all of you all to please hear this out clearly. This is clearly time-bound now. All pending GST refunds due to MSMEs, till now that is, shall be paid within 30 days. Everything that is pending since I don't know how many years, from the time of introduction, let us say, of the GST, from then till today, whoever has got a pending refund problem, it will be sorted out within 30 days from today. The government has worked very clearly to clear it all within 30 days. BS vehicles which are purchased as up to 31/3, oh God, that reads 30, 31/3/20. We didn't intend till 2030. It is 2020. So BS4 vehicles which are purchased up to 2020 March will all remain operational for their entire period of registration. So it's not as if from 2020 BS4 vehicles are all off the road, not at all. As long as their registration is on, they will be allowed and they will be as good as any other vehicle. In order to boost demand, government shall lift the ban on purchase of new vehicles to replace all old vehicles by government departments. That's an important point I want to draw your attention to for boosting demand. The next one in that, again to boost demand, government will consider various measures including a scrappage policy. I would have really gone ahead with introducing the benefits which can come out of a scrappage policy, but only because we need to create the necessary infrastructure for it. Scrappage means you're giving your old vehicles, getting a coupon if necessary for it, then going and buying a new vehicle, provided the old vehicle can be completely broken down, its value be removed in bits and pieces, and to that extent, the actual scrappage value can be given to the person who's giving the car for scrap and then moving to buy a new vehicle. But because we still don't have the infrastructure for dealing with scrap vehicles, we are holding on, but we shall hopefully come with a scrappage for policy sooner, so that road unworthy vehicles or old vehicles can all be sent not to be recycled again, creating greater pollution problem, but to be completely scrapped. And the money for scrapped vehicles be obtained in the form of some coupons and new vehicles can be bought.